guys, I'm back for grind number 18 on the world of Deneb. Am I still going the right way? Yeah. Oh, I could have looked at the clouds. Alright. I have wolves. I picked them up in the woods not too long ago. I should have 3. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so yesterday I talked about nutrition, and at the end I mentioned that I was working on a project sort of centric to that. And I'm not sure I'm going to talk about that in this instance, but I'm going to talk about web development a little bit, because there is another project I've agreed to work on. It was a little confusing, but... What the heck? Oh, grass catching fire. I gotcha. Oh, good. The rain's gone. I actually don't mind the rain so much, but it might be deafening for you folk. So, yes, I currently, I'm a native of Maine, and I hope to go back. I've been asked questions by my current employer that may complicate that. Going back in, the near future, it may be put off is what I'm getting at, which I guess suggests job security, which is generally a nice sounding thing. But be that as it may, I have agreed to help. Well, jeez, I forget so easily. The gist is, I'm currently living in Northern Virginia, aka Arlington/Alexandria area. I work in one, live in the other. Don't necessarily need to tell you which is which, but probably not too hard to figure out. Doesn't matter. And the town of Alexandria has been trying to do this sort of community metrics site, or they spent some time and money apparently developing a data set, not a database, but a set of data that sort of measures the quality of life, what they call the quality of life indicators. Wages, employment, whether or not people are or aren't employed, services, crime, things like that, for the town of Alexandria. And they have had difficulty presenting this because, they're, as far as like a bunch of select folk and people of the town, they're generally older, and by that token, certainly the ones I've seen so far have been anyways. I don't want to generalize too much. But they certainly haven't had technical expertise behind them. And this one guy, whose life has since become quite challenging just because of newborns and stuff like that, has had to delegate away from himself this project of presenting this information. And I got involved. I listened to a presentation on this, and I wrote him the next day, sort of more or less based on my own ideas rather than what he was talking about. Because they're using this thing called CKAN, C-K-A-N, which might be inspired by CPAN for Perl, maybe. It doesn't really matter that much, but CKAN really only stores compacted data. It doesn't actually show you the data. It doesn't make it searchable. It's just a storage place, a repository where you can keep data. And that, in an open, publicly centric kind of way rather than proprietary and stuff like that, which is good. But what he and a few others needed was the ability to set up a CKAN site and store the data. What my interest was, and I didn't understand that at first, so there was some confusion. And they have a student who's working part-time, so he'll be working mostly on the CKAN site, whereas I am more or less working on importing that data and using it in a presentation or a web application, essentially. And I will, produce a map of the Alexandria area and show the quality of life indicators, colorize the map, maybe even animate the map if you have the indicators over a certain period of time. You have the potential to sort of show trends over time. That's always a really good way to see what's happening. If you have snapshots in time, you often miss important details that become more obvious when you can see the motion in play. Anyhow, I'm thinking about this. And that's something I'll be working on. I've been trying to figure out what the stack will be. And if you're not familiar with web development, the stack essentially refers to the layers of technology that you use from the ground up, from the server on up to the experience the end user gets when they browse your site. There is a pink. Well, I don't want pink. Leave me alone. You're harassing me with your pink. Alright, so... Yeah. Because the CCAN is already a Python application, I'm starting in Python, even though I will not actually use CCAN directly. But I really have a temptation to use Node or Modulicious, which is Perl, instead, because these are things I want to learn more of, and this would be a good opportunity. Then again, the nutrition site I was talking about would also be a good opportunity. So, but I think that one's going to be Node. Look, we're so much pink. What's going on out here? Someone has been this way before. Maybe it was me. Maybe. I don't even remember. But this presentation was given right after a presentation by the National Science Foundation, the NSF, where if you were on my Facebook feed at all, you'd see that I spend almost every Thursday evening lately. I don't mean to do every Thursday, but lately, because since I said I would work on this project anyways, at their building in the Arlington area. And the NSF had made the first presentation, or a guy from the NSF anyways, where he wanted people to help make an app. I'm not sure if he thought mobile an app or not, but an app, either way. An app doesn't necessarily have to mean a mobile device. An application is what it means. That would allow them to track down or better categorize or better collect data on the groups that they give money to. Because the NSF basically is this large sort of government-y foundation that has billions of dollars to operate on, and they generally work with universities who have research projects that they fund. And there are essentially very few strings attached. However, when you produce a product based on research and then you patent it, there's a requirement that you let the NSF know so that they can know that their money has done X amount of good in X amount and Y amounts of ways and Z amount of places. And yet what they have found is that that many of those people haven't submitted the correct information, or they have submitted the wrong information or to the wrong place. And so they do not have a very clear picture. They have a decent picture, but not a completely clear picture of where all their money is going and what it's accomplishing. And so they were hoping that we would develop an app that would improve that. And then a whole ton of people went off to work on that project, so much so that I felt like they were sort of abandoning the other guy, the Alexandria Quality of Life Index guy. Sort of in the cold, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I made, both presentations had my brain running in circles, in a good way, that is. So I stuck around. I figured, well, if that many people were leaving to work on the NSF, they've got that well in hand. I will listen to this guy. But from the very beginning, with the NSF, it had got me thinking about, why is it so hard? What the hell's going on here? Why is it so hard for people to follow the forms? Why is it so hard to get data? I mean, we're in the midst right now of this sort of blowback. People are starting to strike back against the collection of data, and largely because of all these revelations of the NSA and the FBI and CIA collecting data, sometimes without even permission. They have spent some amount of time hacking the large networks and Google and folk like that to collect data. And of course, people are not going to like that. And considering, I myself will sort of accuse them of warmongering to an extent. Oh, that's cool. As long as I hit them first, that seems to work out really well. Like so. Look at this. Oh, don't kill my dogs. Okay, apparently it doesn't work quite so well on living creatures. I should beware. Whoa! Where'd you come from? But that right there, that was fantastic. Come on. Do it again, guys. Oh, jeez, I almost hit one of my own. Thought it was a skeleton for a second. That's cool. Meat. Come on. Meet me. Meat. Oh, they're stuck. Shake it off. I am just run out of meat, so I'm going to need to get more. Plus, leather has its uses. Look at my friggin' levels. I'm going to die soon. Anytime you're over 30, you're almost certainly going to die. I wonder if dogs would be good against Endermen. Probably not. Probably not. Do it. Ha! Excellent. That's fantastic. Meanwhile, whoa, little guy. Thank you. I have to beware. I do need my food. I'm gonna have to probably do some digging. Make myself another chest. Or, I mean, another... Oh. Uh-oh. Lag. Lag, lag, lag. Run. Somebody can't put something on the dog, like a spiked car or something, that makes them hit harder. I mean, they're doing a pretty good job anyways, but... There you go. Can I do that feeding thing? Can I feed them something to heal them up? I'd like to be able to just see their life, frankly. Meanwhile, I'm not really getting any of the explodey guys. And come to think of it, I'm not sure I want explodey guys around my dogs. Oh, jeez! Crappity crap. So, yeah, anyways, NSF, sorry. I got all caught up in this, and now I don't have any food. I suppose I have this stuff. I also don't... It's not ideal. But it'll heal me up. There's one over there. Oh, there's several. Okay. I might lose my dogs, but I want to find out how this is going to work. So, it got me thinking about better ways of collecting data. And without okay, so they don't seem to be interested in the creepers. That's interesting. It's convenient, but interesting. Oh, no, stay back. Okay. Because we need data. Data is amazingly powerful stuff, and it can be the power of good, power of bad, depending on who has it and what they're using it for. I intend to use it for good. Probably difficult to prove. I don't really want personal data exactly. That's not how this works. But like Michelle Bachmann, a representative, I think from Montana, Michigan, something up that way. No, not Montana, because she was one of 3 districts, and Montana only has 1. Anyways, she's one of those fearmongers. People who say anything to alert, put people in this sort of alerted state that makes them sort of paranoid and sensitive, and all the things that make them more pliable, which is exactly bad. I guess you could put it. Oh, I should have. Okay. And she said this pretty funny but terrible thing. Oh crap, you're on me? I'm gonna die. Shit, of course I'm gonna die. But if I get in the water, maybe I won't. Would that help? Oh man. Just leave me alone. I had no intention of hurting you. I don't know what happened. Just leave me alone. Oh crap. Watch out, dogs. I'm not sure if he's still upset at me or not. Go for it! While we're all floating here. it occurs to me, well, basically what she was saying was, don't fill out the census. That's information they used. Like, I don't think she used the World War II reference, but basically they'll use that to track you and various fear-mongering stuff to get people to be afraid. And frankly, the opposite is true. Or actually, what would have been hugely amusing was if they'd actually done it, if they'd refused to fill in the census, which is, she was saying this around the time of the census. If they'd actually gone through with it, the amount of population in her state would have been, according to the reports, reduced. And to have a certain number of representatives in a state, you actually have to have a certain amount of population. And it would have been reduced by enough to actually eliminate her district and cost her job. So I'm not sure if not being a fan, whether or not I want that or not. Then again, those people wouldn't be well represented, so that's not good. Anyways, I'm not sure if this was a good idea. Seem to be doing the water thing, though. Oh, crap. Oh, no. It's kind of bad. Oh! That worked out okay. Oh, that worked out okay, too, except anything they dropped is on the bottom now. Oh, health. Give me health. Anyways, it occurs to me the census isn't even very good. I mean, it's really important to our needs. We can't live without the census. At least we can't have the things we come to take for granted without the census. But, that said, it's only every 10 years, and in between they have this thing called the American Community Survey. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Which is mostly estimates. They take a certain sample size of the population, and then they try to make educated and reasonably good, but estimates, nevertheless. Man. Whew. And for these projects, what was spinning in my head for both cases, with the NSF trying to collect information about how their money is being spent, or Alexandria trying to collect information so that they can get a good picture of and help their people understand the conditions and quality of life concerns in their own community. It's like, can we come up with a way that makes offering, the public, make it easy for the public to offer important, needed, and timely, not every 10 years, but timely information. Do it before I die. All right. Those spiders are among the more dangerous things, frankly. And so that's what part of what I'm thinking is well, yeah, sure, I'll make an online representation of Alexandria with the data they've already collected, and I'll do a decent job and make it administratable so it's easy to hand off to others, and maybe even encapsulate it in a way that it can be freely given to any other community that wants to do the legwork of having their own version of the same thing. But once that's in place, I want to then explore open... Oh, really? You eat this stuff? Oh, you don't. Oh. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that could happen. Anyways. Yeah, that's my idea right now. How can we make it easy so that people submit a lot of data very frequently in ways that don't make them feel as if they're being watched or spied on, because that's certainly what one of the most singular concerns about this would be that it's not really anonymous but impersonal. It's data about what's happening to you or your area, but it doesn't need to know who you are, doesn't need, stuff like that. Maybe age and gender and ethnicity and maybe like how much you make a year, if anything. Unfortunately, that's not always a given. But no name, no social security. We don't need to know that stuff, and therefore it can't be traced back to you, at least easily. Somebody, I suppose, could say, well, the guy, the Southeast Asian from this neck of the woods who makes this amount of money, and they could extrapolate backwards. I'm sorry, if they care that much, there are other ways they can find you, so it's not going to be this service that's the problem. Oh, well, I overtalked that one, but it's something that I'm thinking about, and I'm working on the stack. I'm playing with Django. Sounds funny, Django, Django, Jingle Jangles, right now, but I probably will try to go over to Node since... Oh, puppy died. I'm sorry. Oh, that's a risk, I guess. Alright. Well, I've said enough. I'll come back again, maybe talk about it sometime down the road when I have actually decided on what the stack is, and maybe discuss some of the issues I've resolved. Right now, I'm mostly just doing tutorials on GeoDjango and Django itself, which are two separate things. And in Postgres, I'm working on Postgres as well, which is the first time. Anyways, have a good night. Please come again tomorrow.